Big house, fancy jewelry, nice fancy car, and a whole bunch of fancy clothes. Back in the day, that was a measure of and today was a measure of somebody's wealth, right? How much wealth they have, how much they were worth, their success. And guess what? Sometimes it still is, and probably in general, it probably still is in a lot of different communities and cultures, and specifically the American culture, I would say. Look, we all know now, and if you didn't know, that's all BS. It was funny. Yesterday I was at like a little event, and when someone saw me, the first thing they asked me about was what type of car I was riding around in, because every now and then they see me and I have a fairly decent car. I told you guys I always have somewhat of a beater like I'm in now, but sometimes I do splurge on myself and I have a nice car. And it just made me think about that in this video. And it's like, why does it matter? That doesn't mean anything. I know a whole bunch of people that have fancy cars, fancy this and that, and trust me, they have nothing. They're worth nothing. Essentially, that's all they have. And sometimes they don't even have that because they owe money on everything, right? They owe money on the big house. They owe money on the fancy car. They owe money on this and that. They bought all these clothes and this jewelry that's depreciating in value. So really, they don't have anything. It's not a secret to a lot of you guys that's probably watching this, but it is a secret to some people, and some people still don't get it. Now, look, I don't care about all that stuff. You know, if you want to go ahead and buy fancy cars and jewelry and live your life, do your thing. I don't care. You know, me personally, I like to moderate it and have balance. So I like to do both. I like to have nice things in moderation, but then I also like to prioritize investing and saving and that sort of thing. That's things that are important to me. Now, that might not be important to some other people, and I get it, right? Some people think, quote unquote, life is short, which it technically is short. Life is short. Time flies. The older you get, the faster time goes, it seems like. And yes, you got to live your life. There's no point in going ahead and accumulating a lot of wealth and money and then just dying. But here on the flip side, check this out. Those of us who have kids and family, then you do have to worry about something. Life might be short for you, but then you gotta supposedly, you're supposed to be worried about the people coming behind you, your family, your kids, right? Things of that nature. And if you are caring about that type of stuff, then you won't be selfish. Selfish is, oh, I'm living for today because I might pass away tomorrow, or whatever the case may be. No, you don't worry. That's not how it works, in my opinion. You know, you worry about you, because you don't know how long you're going to be here, right? And you worry about the people coming behind you. Because guess what? Here's the secret. If you don't worry about them and put them in a decent situation, in this decent position, a good chance, if things still go the way they go, and this whole thing doesn't come down, if people know what I mean when I say that, this whole house of cards, I'm going to say, we know that eventually great empires come to an end, but we don't know when this one is going to. Everyone has their theory, but no one can guess. But you don't know that. So if you don't put them in a good position, in a good situation, you're essentially screwing them at the end of the day, because it's not going to do anything but get harder and harder for each generation, especially as they print money, as the money is devalued, and as the price of and the cost of getting assets increases, right? Over time, the more it increases, the harder it's going to be for somebody behind you to catch up. Why is that? Because the money is depreciating at a faster rate than what people are earning, right? So the sooner you start accumulating assets, the better it is for the people coming behind you. Who are those people? Your friends, whoever you're leaving your money to, right? Your family, friends, whatever the case may be. So don't worry about the big house, the big car, the fancy jewelry, all that stuff. Don't worry about that stuff. Trust me. Especially if you have people coming behind you, and especially if you're somebody who currently doesn't have anything, right? You're building yourself up from the bottom, right? Which a lot of people are, and they can do it in this country. If you're one of those people who are building yourself up from the bottom, you can't afford to be wasting your money on crap. You can't afford it. It's no way, because you're fighting an uphill battle already. There's no excuses for you. You can get it done. People get it done all the time. They come over here to this country. I make videos about that. Some people may not like it, but it's the truth. and they build themselves up from nothing. They can't even speak the language. So, but you can't afford to not start now and try to build yourself up. And what all that comes up to be is, look, you need to invest your money in assets, mainly cash producing assets, stuff like residential real estate. I'm just giving that example, that produces a decent to good cash flow. Not a little bit of cash flow, but a decent to good cash flow, right? Something else would be stocks, of course, buying companies, of course. There's no secret there, right? Those two things are no secrets there. Having a reserve fund, a little bit of cash on the side. We know it depreciates, but you still have to have something on the side. Possibly starting a business, or just getting investing in yourself so you can get a good career going. So those are the things you need to be prioritizing over stuff. Stuff being your car, your house, your vacations, all that stuff, right? Yes, you want to balance it out, so you don't want to live a life where you just go ahead and investing, and you're not, focusing on having a good time for yourself. But at the same time, you also want to balance it out where you're going to have to sacrifice, especially you're building yourself up from the bottom, all right? Like, comment, subscribe, be healthy, wealthy, wise. Talk to you guys tomorrow.